since you know ants live underground, you unearthing the ant, my boy.
No.
So AINT I has got a lot of acronyms,
Okay.
but the one we're running with right now is Apparel Narrating Thoughts of Inspiration.
Apparel
Narrating Thoughts of Inspiration. So
Yeah,
that's the one we're promoting at the moment. Initially it was Africans not trying to imitate, but it seemed a bit racist. It seemed a bit racist, you know. But yeah, I know, I love it. Authentic, naturally tapped with innovation. Like there's just too many acronyms around what we do. We it's a play on words, you know, because the word anti is am I not? Ain't I?
Yes, that's initially.
Yeah, when you
thought,
see, sometimes visually you will see it. So it's got different effects because the dash between the ant and the I creates the ant is I, or the ant and I, or the ant to I. You know, so it's a play on words. You know, it's a paradox, and I think once the people get it, they really get it. You know, yeah, it's just one of those brands, my bro.
Hey, what's good people? Welcome to yet another impactful episode of the People's Journal podcast, where authentic stories are told by real people. As you have, I'm your host, Pac-Man, Mr. 925, in Yomtakasi Waitin. Now, before we even get to it, Bafetu, I just want to say shout outs to you out there. You are reaching out. They're quite impactful. You're watching the podcast. But as I was doing the analytics, I noticed that guys, I'm gonna subscribe. So I just want to say, yo, guys, subscribe in so we can bring you more authentic stories and so that we are able to also grow. But enough with that, let's now get to the episode. Now, Vandaag, I just want to say, man, like the person that I'm sitting with is someone whom I've been really looking forward to ukhlala naye phansi because he's a pioneer. You know, growing up, I got introduced to this logo without even knowing the face. I understand, and I could really say which this has been like the most consistent brand that I've known ever since nje umuntu aloka cool. I understand, but I want to go to a proverb that will just get us into the shape of things, and it's Proverb 6 from the wise man Solomon. It goes, "Go to the end, ye sluggard, observe her ways and be wise." And the vandaag we got this privilege with sihlale nawe bhuti wami and then to learn from you. So without wasting any time, let's sink in, let's soak it out, and let's be inspired and let's be motivated right about now. Ngihleli nekhotman lami uLebza bafethu. Aw, Mr. AINT I.
Yeah, my G.
How are you?
Easy, dog.
No, I'm good. Just how are you feeling right about now?
I'm good, so yo,
can hold
happy. Oh yeah, happy to be here, man. You know, happy that you guys came through. I think you've kept me waiting for a while. You like that chick that doesn't wanna come up. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm very excited for today. And yeah, man, I hope this can help push your numbers and. Well, you know, I mean, you helping me a great deal as well. Since, you know, ants live underground, you unearthing the ant, my boy.
No, man. I think for me, it's really a privilege first and foremost. Like I said, Jorge, you've one of the people who've been on the forecast of things. You one of the people who've been at the forefront of things. You one of the people who've been a pioneer, a trailblazer. You know, especially when it comes to branding. You know, your brand has always been out there, even when before other brands got invited to the party. Yours was always out there, but there's something that puzzles me, and I think before people just get to know the brand, Kimang Lebza, and then why specifically AINT? King like Shankayona, and then Hotlile Jwang gore brand then end up be like Piesa how.
All right. Yeah, so mina Lebza Lebogang Sikonya. Intona sezola born ezola. Khulele emaplazini eBergville. till I was about 10. Then this Janandini lens. Yeah, you know. So yeah, about my history, I mean, it's a very long history. If I'm gonna tell you where I started and whatever, but basically, I'm a Gauteng boy, born in Jozi, studied in Pretoria, University of Pretoria, which is where we came up with the concept. And I say we because initially there was
Pretoria.
Yeah,
Now they're gonna claim it.
Nah, they can't claim that. Nah, hell nah. Nah, they can't claim it. This is it's a deep south brand, you know. Because me now obviously as much as I was born in Zola, I didn't stay there long. I was at Bergville. I think about 3 years, but I got a lot of education from that side. So that's where my Zulu strength of Zulu is. Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, coming back, then I lived in Lenasia South, and yeah, basically after that, studied in Pretoria University, and this is where we came up with the concept. I think we were chilling at the park, getting up to no good, and yeah, I had an artist friend, you know. And we were looking at these ants, and I think we were high, obviously. And this nigga was like, "Hey, dude, I think this should be our concept," because we wanted to create a brand at that time because there was something going on Yabo Root Boy Paul called the Bua Rap Sessions type of thing. So he would tour my campuses, my university campuses, create these battles and stuff like that. So yeah, Root Boy Paul has been a big influence in my life. And me loving hip hop and not being able to flow. My G, you can draw. I'm from Jersey. I'll get the stock. You do the art, you know. Yeah. So that's where we started. Basically, it was a guy called Ubongani Mashele. Shout out to Ubongani. Yeah, no, big ups. Yeah, great artist. Is he still alive? Yeah, no, he is alive. He's doing great in life. Civil engineering type of stuff. So yeah, that's the guy we started the brand with. But obviously, as time goes, you know, things change, perspectives change, and stuff like that. So yeah, right now it's basically AINT I is founded by us, but right now I'm the one currently running it.
And what does it mean? Because I kind of noticed outside when I was looking at your car. You have a logo there. Yeah. So I've realized with it's not just AINT I, but it's sort of like an abbreviation.
Yeah, it's actually an acronym.
An acronym.
Yeah, it's an acronym. So AINT I has got a lot of acronyms, but the one we're running with right now is Apparel Narrating Thoughts of Inspiration.
Apparel Narrating Thoughts of
Inspiration. So yeah, that's the one we promoting at the moment. Initially, it was Africans not trying to imitate, but it seemed a bit racist. It seemed a bit racist, you know. But yeah, I know, I love it. And a lot of people love it. But then it's got some classification to it, you know. But I love all the acronyms we have. So yeah, the one we're running with is Apparel Narrating Thoughts of Inspiration. Africans not trying to imitate, authentic, naturally tapped with innovation. Like there's just too many acronyms around AINT I, but that's what we do. We it's a play on words, you know, because the word AINT I is am I not, ain't I?
Yes, that's initially.
Yeah, when you see, sometimes visually you will see it. So it's got different effects because the dash between the ant and the I creates the ant is I, or the ant and I, or the ant to I, you know. So it's a play on words, you know, it's a paradox. And I think once the people get it, they really get it, you know. Yeah, it's just one of those brands, my bro.
Listen, man, I think this is interesting because like every time we get to see this ant, right, and we never understand why, like out of all animals, you know, I feel like when you look at all the living creatures, like an ant is one of those creatures that we sort of overlook.
Yeah.
You know, it's not counted amongst other creatures, you
Too
know.
many to count.
Yeah. But yet you can see that
yeah,
through it, just by looking at it, you guys were inspired to, you know, formulate a brand out of it, you know. So shout outs to that. So how did Bergville influence some of your choices to become the person that you are today?
Yeah, my grandmom was a big influence in my life. I think as well at the time when I lived there, even though I was like 5, I was the oldest of the grandchildren, so I had to be the most responsible, type of thing. So I know a lot of things that guys in Joburg would look at this guy like, Fana say Josie type of thing. But I like that as well, Would see I've got that hidden thing, would say, this guy, Umzulu. But I'm actually petty, So I'm that person who got to be exposed to loving language at a very young age.
Yeah.
Because now I'm Zulu, aside in Lagamama, which is where I grew up, but I'm actually petty because my father is petty, So that makes me appreciate more of what people say and wanting to learn Changan and the Ambesvenda, that kind of thing. So, and if you notice, a lot of people from Bergville, they're not like most KZN people. They're very open to language because Free State is very close. So Sotho was always very something you would hear. So I think falling in love with language is what I learned in KZN, like just to understand, would say, okay, you might be Zulu. No, I was Pedi. I knew I was Pedi, but I had to learn Zulu and then also appreciate other languages. But yeah, most of my learning, I would say, is from my grandmother, not necessarily Bergville. Because ugogo makasuke Bergville avakashe Jozi makabuyela la ubuyela nogogo yangithola no-program. So it was mostly her. And I think the one thing she taught me most was respect. Respect. Yeah.
And it seems to me, Gary, like you respected even the process of learning, because you spoke about seeing these ends and then growing an idea, after seeing those ends or being inspired by that. But it's one thing to be inspired, and it's also one thing to have an idea, but it's also one thing to put that idea now into action. Let's talk about groundbreaking, that process, getting now your hands dirty now, creating like the beautiful products that we see today. Because like I said, my first exposure to the brand was through Mkhwenazi Grootman's fee. So the KRT gang, that's when you would see like Kone Nabo Peter. That's when you would see the brand mostly. And I think one of the memories I also have was there was an event that Orion had hosted, a secret garden.
A secret garden.
Yeah. And and you guys were displaying, and at the time Nati, we had a brand Peace Love and Beer that we were displaying there. And I remember if you are wondering, Shoutout, the conversation is hot right now. But what I'm trying to say is, I remember like the fans, the AINT were really proud of it, because they kept reminding us that brand is nowhere until Siba like ne label, the tag. So take me through the groundbreaking of it, and just you coming up now, because in Ikaleni too, but then you ended up being the solo one pushing it forward.
I think the tag was one of the first things I fought for. So I think my 21st birthday, instead of having a 21st birthday party, I asked my dad to give me that money.
Why?
And I bought tags. That's how long AINT has had tags for. Like in the first 4 months of production, we had a tag. Like
wait. So you told your parents too fast.
Yeah, I don't want it
so
to
that
fast.
This idea can.
Yeah, like I took the money and invested it into tags, and it was a lot, man. I mean, it was like, at that time it must have been like 3K, and I'm talking 2003, somewhere's there, So honestly, I think my commitment was from the very first day. I knew that, okay, I'm here, and I'm not an artist. I can't draw. I've got the creativity. I can share you a concept and you can bring it to life. I'm that kind of person. And I'll even tell you where I want you to change and what not. But once I got into the printing space, I really knew that I wanted to go in there. So yeah, even after varsity, started working, saving up money, buying equipment while I was still spanning, and just having this vision of saying, as long as I have these things, at some point I'm going to learn. And that time did come, shout out to Autami Philemon. Yeah, no, one of the best silk screen printers in the world. Yeah, he literally used to come to my workshop when it was still like just mud and print stuff. And I've learned a lot. I stayed with that guy for about 11 years. Like just learning,
From him.
Yeah, just learning from him. And even when I felt like I was ready, I knew there was still more, so he's one of those guys that really pushed me to get into the space. And being in the space also propelled me very into other things, because now I ended up becoming a technician on printers, large format printers, because of the interest of printing, So yeah, basically I do all things paint, all things print. If you want me to spray paint your house, brand your wall, I do those kind of things. I print clothes, I print cars. So I've just taken this thing and made it one thing, because most people will do car branding and specialize in that, or clothing branding but how I love doing it is doing it for myself. And being able to do it for myself and not needing to get the next person. So that's what I told myself. As long as I have the equipment and I take the time to learn what I want to learn, I shall know.
Right there, you spoke something that's profound. You spoke about vision,
Yeah.
and also like as Maulogo Ujeli story sakho, I also picked up something. But how important is it to have a vision? And then also, how important is it to not just understand your work, but to understand your industry as well? Because as you're saying now, Guti, you started as a branding t-shirt where it's apparel and then now you ended up learning all these other skills, and now you are able to brand anything basically. Anything. So even your board, yes. So how important is it to have a vision, and how important also is it to not just understand your job, your work, but to understand the whole industry?
Yeah, I think it's critical, bro. I think it's critical. I think first of all, the vision obviously is forecasting and stuff like that. Sure. But then the little things you do move you towards that vision. That's the most important thing. And we ants, man. We work in silence. So you bite a little, you work on that, and you grow with it. Don't take too much too soon, type of thing. When I started learning the machines, I wanted to learn how to fix machines only. And then when the time came that now I know this, now I can start vinyl application. Now you should see my car, bro. Oh, you go crazy. But yeah, I think it's the vision without the action value. Obviously, it's not gonna help.
Sure.
But the small actions that you do take will take you there. And black business is about vision. It's not about planning. It's not about planning. It's about saying, okay, I've got 10 rands. I'm gonna buy flour and oil, and I'm gonna make a Mkhwenazi, and that's the vision. The business plan shall write itself. Yeah, it's always been like that for me. So as well, I think my vision since the get, I knew I never wanted to cop out. Like I never wanted to sell out at any point in time. And I was blessed, at some point I was at
What is selling out?
Selling out. Wanting instant gratification, bruh. Like,
Yeah.
you see the potential of what you have, but you want rewards now when you could just be patient and do things gradually at your own pace. Your own pace might not be the best pace. It might, but it's still, it's the right thing to do. I've always felt that from the get that I didn't want anyone to be involved unless they were literally physically involved. So an investor for me is not someone with money. An investor is someone with time. And like a real effect in the business. So it's okay, today Lisa, we're going to this place. I've spoken to this person. That's an investment for me. It's not money. Money is just gonna put you under stress. I mean, I'm a chance they went for the NYDA stuff. And they are drowning.
No, but it's true. It's facts. It's out there. I think it's also like one of those things. Sometimes, like when you're in the hood, you just think about, the dependency on, our government. It always comes a disappointment. And speaking of that, what's your take on Kasi economics? When we were outside, you spoke something that was profound about coming together, you know, and if we work together as people, there's more that we can do instead of just wanting to be a sole trader, you know, or ufuna ukuphila one. So take me through the economic, the gas economic, according to how now you've experienced it and where you see it and where do you think we can do better in it.
Yeah, but you know the Kasi Valley, the economy in the Kasi is billions worth. You know that. Yeah, uncounted bucks. But then uncounted bucks. But there's a lot of money in the Kasi, and one thing I've noticed, people want to support. Like people are supportive. So as long as we produce the right things, the Kasi, just the Kasi, can get us out there without even you going out. I mean, there's online things now and stuff like that. But your neighbor wants to literally buy your stuff, you know. So there's a very big economy. The opportunity for Gasomics is like crazy, and I think if we look at the total thing, nah, that's the cheapest. That's where you should start. Because if AINT I is not known where it comes from, then where does it stem from? You know what I mean? So that, like, people have pride. We are South African, bruh. Like, we have, yes, you know, we've got that thing with extra for them, man. You know what I mean? So we have that. So we should use that. I mean, and the only way to use it is by giving people the right thing. I mean, I've done things for people where I was not happy myself, and I'll be the first person to point it out and say, dog, nah, that thing, bring it back, let me swap it. You know, I always try and make sure my clients get the best of the best, and that's what ICAS needs to be. It needs to be an open, honest economy.
What does it look like? What does an open economy look like for you?
Yo, bruh, like, you know, I don't want to think flea market, but vibes. You know, I like those things where people get together. Music, it doesn't have to be loud music, you know, chill sessions, you know, that I think I love that about Ikas. I mean, I'm staying in Lenasia South right now. It's not as gassy as the Soweto, but the vibe that you get when you go to Soweto, you know, it's just like, why ngahlalilana, you know, type of thing. But then why not create that here? You know? So instead of wanting to say, hey, I want to go to Zola and your Jiva, nah, why not create that thing? Because it's like uniting people. I think that's what I see for AINT I as a brand. It's like a brand that can unite people. It's a brand that doesn't see color, race, gender, whatever. It's AINT I, man. Like, however you see it is how you see it. That's why I hate explaining it. Like, it means I'm against or ain't I. No. It's how you see it, and that's how I call it, you know. But it just needs to be open, honest, and never sky chance in faith. Like, there's too many stop nonsenses, you know. Like, especially for us South Africans, because other people, I mean, they just come show up and then they don't mind running away with their cabbages, but I'm not gonna run away with my stock. I'm here, I'm trying to hustle, you know. So the red tape, man, I think that's what's also keep, and people wanting to benefit from everything. Sorry.
No, but it's honestly, I think you know, it's quite important because conversations, they are complete. So we shouldn't apologize, but we should create a space where we can sit and speak honestly about the things as it affect time. You spoke something about opening the economy, you know, and I think for me now, the way in which how I've observed and been observing our local gas economy is that as local entrepreneurs or as gas entrepreneurs, I think it's quite important to just take a step back and just look at ourselves as individual, you know, and get rid of those little things as like jealousy, you know, like, because I feel like the economy, it is there, like you were saying, but also we don't need, like, mostly footy, like when it comes to our local economy, the red tape is not much in that grassroots like that. It's over those people, but we can make it work from here, you know. But it will take us to see past our own personal angazi ukuthi ngayibiza in to get through that, you know, to see Lebza for a brother instead of unhealthy competition, to see, you understand, building each other in that sense. Yeah. So I see it like that. But then if someone wants to start a brand, right? You've, like, your experience is long in this game, you know. So right about now, these kids, they have the internet, but at the same time they're still lazy, you know. It's like they want to be spoon fed, you know. But then from your point of view, from your experience, obviously there's no right or wrong answer. How does one go about starting a brand that's sustainable and that will sustain for years to come?
Okay. I think the most important thing, before you even whatever, the name. Yeah, one. You take the name, you research the name, go to search engines, you Google anti, you know. If it gives you, like, you know, like the normal information, anti is a word that means to oppose and what, then you know it doesn't exist. Right. Then you go to your social pages. On social pages we don't even care much, but if you go and you search for the word anti and you find that there's something in the UK called anti, now you must try and figure out if those people are registered, because anti is ANT-I. It's not anti. You know. So because you can't register the word anti, it's a generic word. So you can't register the word black. It's a generic word. So figuring that out first, and then maybe saying, which, okay, I wanted to call it what, but then now it can't go that way. How do I twist it around so it still means the same thing? Because trademarking, you can't promote a brand that you haven't trademarked. You can get easily screwed over. Same thing as, if you remember World Cup 2010, Bafana Bafana, that guy registered the trademark 1996 and he just chilled, you know. He waited and they did all these promos and all this thing. When it was time for the World Cup, he showed them as like, paper, bruh. I'm here. Yeah, pay me, you know, type of thing. So that's the one thing I'll say is, that's like, when it comes to a brand, get the name, trademark it, then everything else falls into place. Everything else falls into place. Obviously, research, information. Fashion is an easy industry to go into. If you have the right passion and you do the right research for suppliers and stuff like that, you're in. Easy as that.
I think that's about it, Bafetu. You heard. It's quite important to get your name right, to make sure ukuthi awushare igama lakho nomunye umuntu on the other side of the country. And if you do, make sure ukuthi at least yours in a copyright or theirs is registered, so that now you can move around and see how you can change or go about igama. So it's quite important, according to the founder of AINT I. But then apart from Ipiesa, like, what keeps you fulfilled?
Yeah. Hey, man. I think hope, hope. Obviously my family, my woman, my son, you know, my nephews. I've got a very big family, but yeah, you know, just having hope. I think hope for the next time. I mean, I'm growing older. You know, when they say you grow older, the hope gets less. But I'm still a hopeful person, you know. Maybe that's what keeps me young. But yeah, just knowing that there's tomorrow, you know. There is still tomorrow, and we can try again, and we might do it better. If we fail, we'll try again.
What are the hopes for AINT I, and just what are the hopes for AINT I, and what do you want it to be remembered for?
Yo, the anti. I think anti is. I don't know. It's the love of my life. Sorry, babe. But yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I think it's embedded in me, and I think I live it, you know. So the future for me, like the hope for me for Enter is for one day for it to be on everyone's shelf, and once you have it, it's on your top shelf. I know that for a fact, you know. So that's the hope I have. I think we're still gonna grow. We still got a lot of room to grow.
Sure.
And I was actually very lucky at my youth. I was taught by, I had a 1 hour session with Ukensani Mangani, the founder of Stone Cherry. So she taught me a lot about copying out and, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just seeing her grow the way she's growing, like in the background, and it's the dopest thing ever. That's my hope. I want it to be a silent big brand.
Silent big brand.
Yes, sir.
Wow, listen, man. I think for me, now, you know, I opened the show with a proverb. You know, go to the end, you sluggard, observe her ways, and be wise. You know, so I think right now, if you haven't been observing, you know, this mixed breed ant, a hybrid. You know, a hybrid right now, and if you did not gather for your time of harvest, you know, that is coming, then you would have lost out on this episode, because I think he dropped some gems, you know, and he really gave us, you know, a path, a light, you know, for someone that wants to be inspired, for someone who has a brand, for someone that looks to build a brand. You know, at least now you know where to start, you know. And that was your authentic story, Grotman.
Yeah, man.
I just want to say, Nati, from our side, thank you so much, you know, for honoring the invitation. This was just part one of it. You know, as you grow, we really like to document your journey, because I started this podcast as a way of documenting. You know, I want our stories to be known. You know, I'm curious. If I see this brand from Mama Grotman and I still see it today, and when I go outside, yes, some people may know it, but where is the story of it? Its roots, you know, it's quite important, because for us, it took us a long time, especially black people, to get to the positions that we got into, because we didn't see people that look like us, you know. But as soon as we saw people that made it out there that looked like us, then we aspired. We saw that it was possible, you know. So I think it's also important that we also document these stories for intwana sekasi ongena access to see other people. But if akgona gore a bone Grotman Lebza, then he can be like, if he did it, then I can also do it.
Can't I?
You know, so so we are really fortunate.
We all have the potential, guys. Like wonke umuntu une-chance emhlabeni bafethu. Just take it, you know.
Yeah.
Whichever way you wanna take it, take the chance, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Million.
And out.
And then where do people find the brand if bafuna we follow, we tag, we support?
Okay, so njengoba ngitshela mina we underground baba. Mina ngithengisa nge-landline. But anyway, actually right now we in the process of what I'll do is I'll give you the links for my YouTube and my TikTok. So you can have that maybe at the end of the show.
Sure.
But then it's launching, I think, on the first week of June.
First week of June.
First week of June, yeah. We're gonna be having some TikTok ads and stuff like that. We actually have a website, but we've frozen it because there were some technicalities and stuff like that. But yeah, we're starting with the social media pages now. We've got some very cool summer things selling now, and you know it's winter, right? So you're getting them at a price. So yeah, if you see us on social media, yeah, I can't say it now until I've secured it, but it's actually into Tuane. AINT into Tuane.
Yeah.
So into Tuane. AINT into Tuane. So it's
AINT into Tuane.
Yes, and the into Tuane is spelled IN221E.
Yeah.
Into Tuane. Right. So you'll see it. It's confusing. It's better to read it.
And then the home that we at right now, the home of AINT I, are people allowed to come and buy here? How do they get here?
Yeah, so Kayatila AINT I is situated at 3202 Platinum Crescent, Lenasia South Extension 7. Yeah. Mixon Manor, if you know a place called Mixon Manor. It's the middle of nowhere, but it's towards the Val, Lenasia South. Our contact number is 074 346 0348. yeah, I would prefer obviously someone to call before. So it's 074-346-0348. That's also on WhatsApp and stuff like that. So yeah, I think by the first week of June we should be able to get easier contacts. People will find us online. They'll be able to do purchases and stuff like that. And yeah, we deliver quick, man. 3 to 4 days. Now we still roll on Zula Uzalana. Just buy online. Your things, bruh.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for just taking your time out, to watch this episode. We really, really appreciate it. Please don't forget to follow us also on our social media pages. It's at the People's Journal Podcast on Facebook, People's Journal Podcast on YouTube, TPJ_ podcast on Instagram, TikTok, the People's Journal Podcast, and then shout outs as well to M22 Entertainment, which are the guys that are making sure that you guys are able to see all of this beauty here, you understand? So shout out. Yeah, and with that said, man, let's keep just inspiring each other. Remember ukuthi izwi liyadala, so ungazenzi mdala. Alright, but from your host, the one and only, I'll catch you on the other side.
Shout out.